Hey internet, back again. Gonna talk to you today about dedication, but first, somebody out there told me that I needed to smile more and some tips for becoming more, appealing, photogenic, for lack of a better word, on my little video blog here was to smile more. But anybody that knows me, I smile, I joke. Sometimes, not all the time. I come across as pretty serious, but I'm more sarcastic. Thanks, Mom. And I also want to kind of apologize for some of these long-winded videos. I promised some people that I would rant and go off on a tangent about different things, like, how the medical system needs to be reformed to more prevention rather than prescription, and how this industry in itself needs a whole bunch of reform, because pretty much any wackadoo out there can take a weekend test and say, "Oh, I'm a personal trainer," and the general public doesn't know any better. We spend more time buying vacuum cleaners and researching them than we do researching who's a good trainer. Neighbor Barbara says she uses this person, you go out and hire that person. That's it. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that today. Today, what we are going to talk about is dedication. Started off by talking about, making a commitment and being all in. Today, then we went on to talk about, formulating a plan. Hopefully by now you have a plan. Maybe you wrote it down. Maybe you didn't. Maybe it's still up in here, roaming around, rattling around somewhere. Maybe you piled some stuff onto it, like my desk happens to get at times, and then I have to go looking for things. And, then that's not a very good approach to your plan. But if you're the select few who said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to kick this thing right in the tail, and this is it. Now's the time. Then, hey, rock on. But you got your plan. Now what? Hopefully you've got a way to attack that plan, but you got to be dedicated to the plan. You got to be dedicated to the time that things take. Again, we talk about instantaneous gratification. I started out working out, and stepped on the scale today. What do you mean I haven't lost 10 pounds? You haven't lost 10 pounds, you probably gained one, maybe. The reality of it is you didn't put it on in 2 days. You're not going to take it off in 2 days. So you got to be dedicated to this plan. And this is where most people fail, is they say they're on board, but they're not. I see them all the time. They come through my door. They love what I have to say. They buy in initially. But up here, they don't. And some I'll turn away. I'll say, hey, look, we're not a good fit, because you're not truly all in. You're not dedicated to this process. You may say you are, but we're going to get on board with this thing, and 2 weeks down the line, you're going to be going, Josh, and I'm going to have to talk you down off that ledge and bring you back into realityville and say, hey, look, you signed on for a process that's going to take time. Bear with me. Those that do see a lot of success, and I mean a lot of success, and I see a lot of smiles, and I got a lot of emails saying thank you. But those that aren't fully dedicated, we're not talking about committed, we're talking about dedicated to the plan. Okay, when this thing kicks you right square in the bejeezers, what do? Dedication is when you get knocked on your keister, when you get knocked on your fourth point of contact, as my dad would say. What do? Dedication says you pick yourself up, you dust yourself off, and you get back to work. Okay? Dedication also doesn't mean, that you're starving yourself, that you're hungry all the time, that you're not going to enjoy life, that you're going to hate every minute of it, because you know what? As soon as you reach your goal, you're going to quit. You're going to say, oh my God, I've been dying to have one of those. And you're going to have one of those. Maybe you'll have two of those. Because the whole time you weren't living a reality. You were dedicated to somebody else's plan. The one you picked up in Shape magazine. Okay? The one you read in an Atkins book. Or a South Beach book. Or whatever these books are. Go down your health food aisle in the bookstore, if those exist anymore, wherever. Get on the interweb and you'll find a million plans about how to lose 100.5 pounds in 2 days. Doesn't mean that plan's right for you. And have fun being dedicated to eating beans and sprouts for the next 7 weeks and loving life. So being dedicated doesn't mean that you've got to be handcuffed to this plan. You know, it means that it's always on your mind. Dedicated means even though I may make a mistake, I still stay the course. You still keep focused on what the original plan was, what the original goal was. And down the line, we'll talk about goals. You know, I made a comment to a client this week about goals being realistic, and they have to be realistic, and I got this. Well, shoot! I'd love to hike Mount Kilimanjaro in my sandals with board shorts on. That doesn't necessarily sound realistic or even attainable. Maybe I could do it. But the likelihood isn't very good. Okay? Again, we'll talk about that at a later date, but it's going to be kind of hard to be dedicated to something because you may be dedicated to something that's not a reality. And that's where I come in. You know, that's where somebody like me, and I'm not saying this, these are never to say, hey, come see me. Hey, if you like what I'm saying, share it. You know, like it. Whatever you may do. If you're prompted so much as to send me a message, please do. I'm in this business because I'm here to help people, you know. But I'm also in this business, you know, because I think that there's a lot of false knowledge floating around out there, okay? People get misled all the time. Fact is this is not a warm and fuzzy topic, as we said before. It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to lose weight, you know. But like we've said, we got to be dedicated. We got to buy in. We got to have a plan. You got to be dedicated to that plan. Long-term goals. This is a marathon, not a sprint. And if you can't dedicate yourself to that, if you went into this marathon thinking that you're going to run hard for a good 100 meters, you may have to walk a little bit, but if you're dedicated, you'll walk and you'll keep going. If you're not dedicated, you'll do what a lot of people do. They'll loosen the shoes, throw them in the corner, and call it quits and say, maybe next year. Maybe next week. That's my words of wisdom, Internet. That's all I got for you today.